The first thing you want to do if you're looking to buy a property is to get organised, all right? And what do we mean by that? Well, there's a series of steps we need to take in order to end up with your dream home, because unfortunately buying a property is not a retail experience. You can't just pop down the road to the estate agents, walk in, say, I'll have that, and walk out with a house, all right? There's a lot of steps we've got to do to get you to that point. So the first thing you need to do when you're buying a property is not look at any property, all right? Step away from Rightmove, forget about the estate agent's boards on your way to work, just ignore it, all right? Because if you don't know what you can achieve and what you can buy, ultimately you're probably gonna be very disappointed because you might see the house of your dreams, think, oh, that'd be great, and then actually it's a bit out of reach. So the first thing to do is not look at anything, right? The second thing is to start to know your numbers. And what we mean by that is that if you're employed, work out what is your annual salary, what is your gross salary, and what is your commission, what is your bonus, what is your overtime. Now you might know what all these numbers are as a general kind of, well, it's about this each year, but what we need to do is really drill down and know that month by month, how much of each of your income is coming from these different bits, all right? So that's the first thing. If you're employed, know your salary numbers. If you're self-employed, it's a little bit more tricky. If you're a sole trader or part of a partnership, you need to know what your net profit is for the last 2 years. So that's the profit on which you pay your tax, okay? Limited company directors, make sure you've got ideally 2 years finalised accounts. It's always a bit more tricky with limited company directors because there's different ways in which we can assess income, or a lender can assess income. So what I generally say for a limited company director is get your accounts, have them ready, prepared to give to your advisor, all right? So knowing your numbers, step 2. Step 3 is literally find a professional that you get on with, that you like, that you think can get it over the line for you, and this is a mortgage professional, chat to them and then have that conversation, give those numbers to that advisor. What they'll be able to do is they'll be able to look at all the data you give them, have a chat with you about what you want to achieve and where ultimately you want to end up, and they'll be able to match the data that you've given them with the right lender at the right cost, and they'll be able to come back to you and say, right, okay, look, given your numbers, we think you can achieve a loan of this, which is going to cost you that per month, and we could structure it in all these different fancy ways. And they'll give you a clear picture on the structure of your mortgage and things that you're going to do when you buy the house. So you've done step 1, not looking at property. Step 2, knowing your numbers. Step 3, speaking to a professional that can sort of put it in a nice orderly fashion for you. The fourth kind of step at this stage is getting a decision in principle. Now, a decision in principle is simply dipping your toe in the water from a credit perspective to see if your credit is robust enough to get the mortgage that you require. So once your mortgage advisor has got your numbers and matched you to a potential lender, they'll say to you, right, let's do a decision in principle. And you go, ooh. And then what that means is we're going to give your data to a lender, they're going to credit score you, and assuming everything is all good and gold and okay, they're going to come back with a certificate that you can literally print out and says, we will lend you this amount of money subject to you proving everything you've told us on the decision in principle form. Now, a decision in principle is really important because when you go to look at property, if you find one that you like, an estate agent is going to ask you, well, what have you done to look into whether or not you can buy this? Can you show us that you've got any proof? And that's when you whip out the decision in principle from the back pocket and it shows you that you're basically serious about buying a property. You've done some research, you know what you're doing, and also that your credit is good enough to be able to take that transaction through and ultimately complete the purchase from their client, who is the vendor, okay? After that point, you then go into the application process. We'll do another video on that. There is a further video on decisions in principle, which goes into them in more depth. So have a look around our social stuff. You will find it. We can put a link in as well. But hopefully that gives you the first few tentative steps of what you need to do in order to start the process of buying your home. If we can be of any assistance, give me a shout. You can get us on 0330 122 9920. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And hopefully that's helped. I'll catch you all soon. Bye.